Hi, I'm Peter Hearty with Hearty Law. Today, I'm going to be talking about pets and divorce. Most pet owners will agree that a pet is a very important part of the family, much like any other family member. Unfortunately, the law in Ontario views the pet as property, much like a house or a car. Sadly, with a divorce or a separation, if you can't decide on who's going to get the house or the car or any other specific piece of property, it's relatively simple. You sell the property, you take the proceeds, and you divide them equally. You can't do that with a pet. And what the end result is a lot of disputes over where the pet is going to go or where the pet is going to live. This issue was highlighted recently in an Ontario Superior Court decision. The facts of the case are pretty simple. Michael and Natalie were a common law couple, lived together for about 4 years. During their relationship, they brought in Layla, a boxer. Everything was great. Both parties looked after Layla, and Layla became an integral part of the family. Fast forward a few years, and Michael and Natalie split up. Eventually, Layla is spending some time with Michael, some time with Natalie. Fast forward to March 2020, and COVID hits, and Layla is no longer spending any time with Natalie. A period of 5 months goes by. Natalie doesn't see Layla. One day, Natalie is outside, and she sees an unknown woman walking Layla. She goes and talks to this woman, and ends up taking the leash and Layla from the woman. Gets into a vehicle and leaves. Michael calls her, first calling the police. The police won't get involved. Michael then asks Natalie for Layla back. Natalie refuses, and Michael initiates the court proceeding. Michael's looking for the return of the dog, Layla. Natalie's looking to keep ownership of the dog, or some sort of visitation schedule in the alternative. This was the issue that the court had to decide. In coming to its decision, the court did a thorough review of the law of property in Ontario as it related to dogs. At the end of the day, the court went through and decided that Michael was the rightful owner. He was the person that primarily cared for the dog, purchased the dog, paid for the dog, paid for veterinarians, paid for food, effectively was the primary caregiver for the dog, but more importantly, took the financial responsibility in caring for the dog. The end result, Michael had the dog, and the court declined to make any sort of decision on any sort of what I would call a parenting schedule for the dog. Natalie was looking for specified time with the dog. The court said that they were not going to spend scarce court resources on that issue and left it for the parties to resolve. For Michael, I'll call it a win, but was it really a win at the end of the day? The outcome in this case probably provides a lot of direction and legal advice for those in similar situations. Courts are not going to get involved in any sort of parenting dispute over a dog. Is that the right decision? That's not for me to say. A lot of people, understandably so, see dogs as an important part of their mental health strategy or their overall well-being, more than just a book or a car or a house. But the law in Ontario, as it is right now, doesn't recognize a dog as being anything more. So the best advice to you that I can give from a legal perspective, if you're interested or there's any thought in potentially separation, spend a lot of time thinking about where the dog is going to live post-separation. If you're really interested in making sure that you're the one that's going to have the dog or end up with the dog, make sure you're spending all your time with that dog. Make sure that you are the person responsible for vet bills, food, and any other financial issues related to the dog. Protect yourself. Make sure that you're providing or generating the evidence that's going to lead to the best outcome for you. Most importantly, and as I'll preach and have said in other videos, you need to be reasonable as you're going through your divorce and separation. Do you really want to spend your scarce resources having lawyers fight about time with dogs and who's going to get the dog and cat? Yes, it's a very important issue for you. A court will not resolve it. So you need some sort of negotiation. You need to resolve those issues on your own. And the way you're going to do that is being reasonable. If you have any questions on pets in the law as they relate to divorce, please contact Hearty Law today for a free virtual consultation.